After recently lifting strict COVID precautions, India reported a record number of coronavirus cases and deaths on Wednesday, making its official COVID-19 death toll over 200,000. In a new global record, Indian authorities logged 360,960 infections in a single day, bringing the total number of cases to more than 17.9 million. India also reported 3,293 deaths, even as experts warned that many virus fatalities were going uncounted. The country accounts for 38% of worldwide cases, having the highest case count. The data of deaths and cases has been so poorly recorded that epidemiologists at the University of Michigan say it's a complete massacre of data. From the modeling we've done, we believe the true number of deaths is 2 to 5 times what is being reported. Crematoriums have been overrun, and now fires burn 24 hours a day in the streets to handle the overwhelming amount of sick corpses. One main reason the virus is taking such a heavy toll is that India's hospitals has faced severe oxygen supply shortages as the mass wave of cases overwhelms the country's hospitals. On Wednesday, just 10 intensive care beds were available for COVID-19 patients in the capital, New Delhi, a city of more than 17 million people. The global impact of the crisis has caused a large effort to help support India from nations like the United States, who this week pledged vaccine materials, therapeutics, and oxygen. Canada said Tuesday that it was sending $10 million to India's Red Cross to fund ambulance services and personal protective equipment. Singapore on Wednesday was transporting hundreds of oxygen cylinders to India. South Korea also pledged to send urgent medical supplies, while Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and said that plane loads of ventilators, oxygen production units, and other medical supplies were on the way to India. India plans to begin manufacturing Russia's Sputnik V vaccine in May to help boost its vaccine supply. This is a terrifying reminder that we are not out of the clear yet. Even as the world begins to reopen, the road to recovery is not at an end. We must stay vigilant in our fight against this virus and remind ourselves that if we rush our reopening and ignore these protocols, there could be crematoriums burning in our own backyards.
Major League Baseball has recently moved its AllStar game from Atlanta to Denver. The move came in protest against Georgia's new law that limits access to voting for many people. Most Republicans favor new voter restrictions after losing the 2020 election, and they now have responded to Major League Baseball with the new disinformation campaign. They've said Colorado's voter laws are just as restrictive as Georgia's. In reality, Colorado's voting laws are among the most inclusive in the country. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred's decision came 2 days after President Biden endorsed moving the game out of Atlanta in an interview with ESPN. "I think today's professional athletes are acting incredibly responsibly. I would strongly support them doing that. People look at them, they're leaders," Mr. Biden said. The president has called the new Georgia law Jim Crow on steroids, and this new law states that special ballots will be created for nonpartisan elections. Ballots must be printed in black and white ink on security paper, a cutoff date of 11 days before primary general election or runoff election for mail-in ballot applications, a deadline for the issuance of absentee ballots at least 25 days before a federal primary, general election or special election, or 22 days before a municipal general election or primary. A Georgia state driver's license number, ID card number, date of birth, and the last 4 digits of a social security number, or another approved form of identification must be printed on the outside of an absentee ballot. Conditions for rejecting absentee ballots if certain requirements are not met. However, some Georgia Democrats expressed disappointment in the move. The All-Star Game is one of the league's premier events, and the city of Atlanta will be losing out on a considerable financial gain. Past cities have seen as much as $60 million in economic boost, according to data from Baseball Almanac. Like many Georgians, I am disappointed that MLB is relocating its All-Star Game. However, I commend the players, owners, and league commissioner for speaking out. I urge others in positions of leadership to do so as well, said Stacey Abrams, one of the state's most prominent Democrats and a voting rights activist, in a recent feature on WPHS. Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock called the move the unfortunate consequence of the law's passage. Overall, the MLB taking a stand on a situation like this is exactly what companies like Major League Baseball should do with their popularity. The most important right to the American people is their right to vote, and when a state looks to take that away, they should experience consequences like this.
The 2021 NFL Draft is tonight, and it will be a crazy one. We don't have a clear answer for what many teams will do in the first round, which means there could be some unexpected picks. We do know the draft will be dominated by offense, and that will be reflected in the top 10 picks. Here, I'll be giving my predictions for how I think the top 10 picks will play out. The Jacksonville Jaguars hold the first overall pick, and it is very clear they'll be selecting Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence has been regarded as the best quarterback prospect in years, so it's no surprise that the rebuilding Jaguars will take him to lead their franchise. The New York Jets have the second overall pick, and it's likely they'll be selecting BYU quarterback Zach Wilson. After trading Sam Darnold to the Panthers, the Jets are looking for a new starting quarterback. Wilson is very much a boomer bust prospect, but he has tremendous upside with his superb arm strength and mobility. This is the first wild card of the draft. The San Francisco 49ers have the third overall pick, and we know they'll be selecting a quarterback, but it's a matter of who. Alabama's Mac Jones and Ohio State's Justin Fields have been linked here, but I predict the 49ers will select North Dakota State quarterback Trey Lance. Lance is a raw prospect, but he would enter a great situation in San Francisco where he would not have to start right away and can adapt to the system. The Atlanta Falcons have the fourth overall pick, and keeping with the trend of quarterbacks being selected, I predict they will pick Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields. The Falcons appear headed for a rebuild, and with their current starting quarterback Matt Ryan turning 36 next season, it would be smart to get their next franchise cornerstone. The Cincinnati Bengals hold the fifth overall pick, and I predict they will select LSU wide receiver Jamar Chase. The Bengals would probably benefit more from an offensive tackle, but reuniting quarterback Joe Burrow with his former go-to receiver from college would also be beneficial. The Miami Dolphins hold the sixth overall pick, and I predict they will select Florida tight end Kyle Pitts. Pitts is widely regarded as the best tight end prospect in recent history, and for good reason. He's an extremely good pass catcher, and his physical and athletic traits are far ahead of any tight end in the NFL. He would be an excellent target for Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. The Detroit Lions have the seventh overall pick, but I predict that the Los Angeles Chargers will trade up here and select Oregon offensive tackle Penei Sewell. The Chargers desperately need to add some pieces on the offensive line to protect their young star quarterback Justin Herbert, and who better to get than his former college teammate. The Carolina Panthers have the eighth overall pick, and I predict they will select South Carolina cornerback J.C. Horn. In a division with some of the best wide receivers in the NFL, having good cornerbacks is essential. Horn is a big physical presence and is stellar in man coverage. The Denver Broncos have the ninth overall pick, but I predict that the New England Patriots will trade up here and select Alabama quarterback Mac Jones. Cam Newton is not the answer at quarterback for the Patriots, nor is he getting any younger. Bill Belichick would be smart to move up and get his guy for the future. The Dallas Cowboys have the 10th overall pick, and I predict they will select Alabama cornerback Patrick Surtain II. The Cowboys secondary was abysmal last season, and they lost some cornerbacks in free agency. Replenishing with a top talent in Surtain would help the Cowboys a lot.
LaMarcus Aldridge, born in July 19, 1985, is an American former professional basketball player. He played college basketball for two seasons with the Texas Longhorns. He declared for the 2004 NBA draft, but ultimately withdrew his name. According to one report, Aldridge's intentional decision to attend college rather than entering the pro ranks directly from high school was influenced by Shaquille O'Neal's personal advice that he should go to the college and then evaluate his NBA prospects. However, in April 2006, after the end of his second year with the Longhorns, Aldridge announced that he would leave college to enter the 2006 NBA draft. Aldridge was selected second overall in the 2006 NBA draft. After spending 9 seasons with the Portland Trail Blazers, he signed with the Antonio Spurs in 2015. Widely known for his signature fadeaway jump shot, Aldridge was selected to 5 All-NBA team and is a 7-time NBA All-Star. In March 2021, he signed with the Brooklyn Nets after the Spurs bought out his contract. However, on April 15, 2021, Aldridge announced his retirement from basketball due to health scare involving an irregular heartbeat. It's great that Aldridge made the decision that he made like Chris Bosh did due to his blood clots, because he could have ended like Reggie Lewis, who collapsed and died in the game due to heart hypertrophic cardiomyopathy.
MLB The Show 21, the first multi-platform release from PlayStation Studios, meaning you can play on your PS4 and play with your friends on Xbox Series X. MLB The Show 21 is a classic modern game in many respects. It doesn't feature the kind of smooth, off-filmic look of today's renderers. It aims for a pin-sharp, pristine presentation with highly detailed characters, bathed in effect, and impressive post-processing. As in past MLB The Shows, you can play as legends such as Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Roberto Clemente, and many more. One of the newest things added to the Show 21, and one of the more interesting things, is you can now create your own stadiums. As far as what you have at your disposal now, Stadium Creator offers 30 templates of hundreds of options to create, where you can bounce homers off the head of a T-Rex 285 feet down the line from home plate, floating spaceship swap for bleachers. The time of your life can be had while engaging in little imagination that breaks the law of reality. If that's the limit of what you're looking for, this is going to give you everything you want. In an attempt to make the game more realistic, they added CFD drain or confidence drain. As in real life, pitchers are affected by a number of different elements that can cause them to pitch less effectively. This may just be stamina or also confidence on the mound. In fact, CFD is a stat in MLB The Show 21 that stands for confidence, which has been the case in the series for years. As you play in MLB The Show, you may notice a CFD drain happening. That means your pitcher will not be as effective as a result. This can lead to misplacement of pitches, which can cause you to serve us home runs and such. As you can imagine, pitching well would cause you to not lose confidence, while pitching poorly will start to drain your confidence in a game. The good news is that you can help to combat this in Road to the Show mode by increasing your relationship with teammates. It's no question that this is the most realistic, innovative sports game yet, with it being the first MLB The Show game available on Xbox, and just for $60 you can play The Show 21 with all your friends, regardless of what system they or you have.